Hey guys, Sneaky Snake here, Brothers in Arms, World of Warships, and today's video we're going to take a look at a couple games that I had playing in the ShipStorm III International World of Warships competitive tournament. I'm divvied up with my friends Doyle and the Wicked Worm, and we're playing against Omega, the team name of the EU clan Total War Alliance, TWA, and this is the final round, game 1 of the ShipStorm III tournament, and we're playing some domination here on the map Trap. So for those of you out there that don't know what ShipStorm is, it's a 3 versus 3 Tier 7 and Tier 8 competitive tournament hosted by the NA Clan Rage Quitting Losers. And this tournament has gained a lot of steam from its first iteration. The third ShipStorm took place last weekend on Saturday and Sunday, the 15th and the 16th of December, and it encompassed, well, quite frankly, over 200 teams across the NA and the EU server. And our team comprised of 3 ZR members, myself, Wicked Worm, and Doyle. And then we had our 4th guy, Cruxus, our Australian buddy. And basically, you get 4 dudes together, you get 2 Tier 7 and 1 Tier 8 ship, and you go play in 3 versus 3 combat versus other enemy teams. And this tournament was a blast. We managed to have a very good showing, and hopefully over the course of these 2 replays you'll see just how good we ended up doing. But yeah, this tournament was so much fun. So for any of the RQL guys out there that come across this video, thank you very much for putting together a great tournament. It seemed like a lot of people really enjoyed playing in this one. We had 119 NA teams sign up for the Saturday group play, which was just fantastic. And yeah, I'm definitely going to be doing this going forward. I did participate in ShipStorm Season 2. I believe it was last October, and it's been a great time. So as you can see here, I'm just going to quickly flash this up on screen. On Saturday, we played in group play, of course. They split up each group between 59 and 60 NA teams respectively. We finished first in Group A with a record of 7-1. And then on Sunday, we moved on. 8 NA and 8 EU teams moved on, I should say, to the international group stage, where we finished 2-1 in our group, but because we were the highest seeded team in the group, we moved on to the Final Four, and then we beat Floof, which was one of the NA teams, in the semifinals, and now you guys are checking out the finals matchup here versus Omega, which again is the EU clan TWA. So obviously, I'm sure plenty of you guys out there that follow the comp scene know who TWA is, a lot of really good players. So how does ShipStorm kind of work? Well, what you can see here is my buddy Doyle in the Gneisenau is moving down to the southwest, kind of loitering around well west of the B cap, whereas my buddy Rabadoo and I have moved over towards the C capture point. Now, in ShipStorm, since it's only 3 versus 3, obviously the combat is a little bit quicker paced. There's only a 15-minute time limit. As you can see that there's only 12:26 remaining in the game. And also, sometimes the maps are smaller, and also the capture zones are quite a bit closer together, as you can see. So the combat is a lot more close quarters in regards to that. And it leads to games that are over quickly, and it's honestly quite a bit of fun to watch on Twitch. There were over 3,000 people on the official World of Warships Twitch page watching this international finals match as we were playing it with Flambass and Easolate all the way over in Wargaming EU's headquarters in Prague, which was pretty sweet. So yeah, it was a great time. Now you can see here just a little bit of strategy before we get into the replay. Basically, sending 1 ship to each cap is a pretty decent tactic. Having the cruiser and the destroyer mingle around together with the battleship kind of loitering around is not a bad idea. You can also have your destroyer supporting your battleship while your cruiser maneuvers around. The enemy team does have a Gneisenau, a Gajidamada, and a Cleveland. Now, of course, the Cleveland is 1 tier higher, so it has the faster reload, it has the better concealment, and of course, it has access to radar. So you can see here, the Gneisenau is pushing in, the Cleveland is also in. My buddy Wicked Worm there is getting quite deep into the B cap, and it's only a matter of time before that Cleveland decides to pop his radar. My buddy Doyle did manage to get a very good salvo of over 12,000 damage onto him. However, you can see that the Cleveland is now using his radar, so he is getting some shots at Rabadoo. Now, Rob immediately has to turn to his port. He is eating a lot of damage, but he should be able to get out of dodge in time. My next salvo going down range just falls astern of the Cleveland, but then Doyle's next salvo comes in and wrecks him down to 2,091 hit points. An absolutely monster salvo. And then my follow-up shot should be able to take care of Blood Legend, and that's exactly what happens, as I pick up my first kill of the game. And now I angle in from the Gneisenau's shots, And I do manage to dodge, and now I'm going to let my IFHE go to work. And one of the reasons why I believe the Helena is the most popular and the best cruiser to bring is because you get 15 152mm guns, and of course, putting on IFHE allows you to deal a lot of damage to enemy ships. At Tier 7, which is of course the majority of the ships that you come across, they simply don't have enough armor to be able to stand up to your IFHE, and you can see that you're going to be getting a lot more penetrations than non-penetrations, even on a ship that's as heavily armored as the Gneisenau. Unfortunately though, Rob did eat about 2/3 of his hit points, and because the Akazuki is so slow, he is actually going to get run down by the Gneisenau. So I'm trying to get into a position where I'm going to be able to continue to farm this guy. I still have full HP, which is very good. Angel Stone does come around the corner and does detect him. You can also see here that the Gajidamada has come back and is trying to take out Worm as well. So he is going to pop his smoke screen and try to get undetected as I continue to rain shells down here on Angel Stone. And like I said, this is what the Helena is so good for. Now, of course, the Cleveland at Tier 8 does have a faster reload. It's a base 6-second reload instead of about... didn't catch the number right there. I'll get it on the next one. But the Cleveland does have 3 less guns as well. But the reload on the Helena, there we go, 8.5 seconds. So it's a 6-second reload compared to an 8.5, but you have 3 less guns. So the Helena really is the monster for the Alpha Strike in this kind of tournament. And it also has pretty decent stealth at 10.1 kilometers fully equipped. So you can move into somewhat close positions against enemy ships and still feel comfortable in being able to engage them with your concealment. Now, a lot of teams did decide to bring their Tier 8 ship as the cruiser, not just the Cleveland, but also we saw a few Mogamis and Edinburghs. Again, the Edinburgh and the Cleveland for the radar, and the Mogami for the stealth and the ability to wipe the floor with its 155mm guns. However, you can see here Angel Stone's accuracy on the Gneisenau is not helping him out, and I have continued to burn this guy down with both the fires and, of course, the high explosive alpha. Now, unfortunately, the Gajidamada did run down Worm in the smokescreen. However, he managed to have quite the trade there. Not only did the Cleveland get taken care of, but because the Gneisenau had to come back and try to kill him, now I should be able to burn down Angel Stone, and basically Rob's life was swapped for both the enemy team's cruiser and battleship. Now, you might be wondering, well, Sneaky, why would somebody bring a Gneisenau to battle? Well, obviously German dispersion sucks unless it's shooting at you, but the Gneisenau, at least in ShipStorm, is good because it's great for close quarters. It has good secondaries. It obviously has the torpedoes that we all know about. The bow armor is still pretty good, and it's a ship that is still pretty tanky. I know that IFHE does do a lot of damage to it, but it is still pretty tanky. And on a lot of the teams that we found later on in the later stages of the tournament, they did have success running the Gneisenau. However, unfortunately for Angel Stone, he's down to 960 hit points. He drifted just a little bit too far out, and before he gets his next heal ready to go, I pick up my second kill of the game on, of course, the Tier 7 German BB. I have 2 frags and 78,000 points of damage, along with an assisted base capture. And you can also see that my buddy Doyle down there is about ready to capture the A objective. So, you know, even though we're losing the battle right now, at least on points, he is about ready to get the A cap, and I'm going to be moving down towards the B. Now, of course, the Gajimada knows that I am well out of position, so you can see that M. Brandis over there is going to charge down Doyle in his Gneisenau. So with that being said, I'm now going to cut towards the World of Warships stream so you guys can take a look at that combat that's going on down there.
What is Gneisenau doing? He's trying to get torpedo angles. I think he knows he's going to go down. He's going to try to trade. Gaja knows. They both know. Oh, no. Next is the Texican standoff, however you call it. Oh,
shot a little bit too early.
Look at that. Just creeping.
Oh,
he's
oh no, that's awkward.
That's a really
awkward.
good dock there.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
How do you do it? He's going to have to go on this side.
Yeah.
He's going to have to go on this side to torpedo. This is so awkward. Before the reload, he's trading so much HP. Is he too close? I think he's... Oh, no, the secondary. Fire! Fire the torps!
Oh!
Oh, no! He didn't leave... Oh, he got him. Okay. Oh, my...
Alrighty, guys. Now we're going to move into Game 2 of our series versus Omega. And you saw right there, the streamers didn't catch it at first, but Doyle actually made a really good play by beaching himself at about a 45-degree angle towards the enemy destroyer it forced the Gajinamada to go around the corner and to try and dump torpedoes at point-blank range. But of course, because the Nyes now has the torpedoes, it made that situation a lot more tricky for M. Brandis, and he eventually was killed by Doyle's torpedoes because he was able to get his secondaries as well. And because the Gneisenau does not have very good torpedo angles, it made that whole engagement rather tough for M. Brandis. So a good play by Doyle, and it gave us an early 1-0 lead in this best-of-3 series. And we were obviously feeling pretty confident coming here into the Haven match. However, as we all know, TWA has some of the finest players on the EU server, and we figured that they were going to give us all that they could handle for this game too. So let's take a look at what happens. Now, if you guys are wondering, a couple quick things that you might be wondering. First of all, the reason why we are called ZF, we named our team the Zero Fleet. That's what Rob wanted to call us. As I mentioned, 3 of us were or are currently in the NA Clan ZR. You didn't have to sign up with your actual clan name. You could make your team name whatever the heck that you wanted it to be. Another thing is that if you're wondering why 3 Tier 1 ships are on each team running into each other, those were all of the streamers that were casting this game. And it wasn't just Isolate and Flambass on the World of Warships official, but we also had Big M and Lord Zath and Kingpin as well. Some NA casters and admins for King of the Sea. So we had a lot of coverage for this tournament, and there was a lot of people in Twitch chat that really enjoyed this kind of style of competitive tournament. And I'm sure some of you guys watching this checked it out, and I really hope you guys enjoyed it as well, because it wasn't just fun to participate in, but it was also a lot of fun to watch the other teams play. So, getting into Game 2 here on Haven, Rob and I once again wanted to do our 2-1 split, where Doyle was going to go loiter around to the north of the B cap, while Rob smokes me up going towards C, and he's going to get on the capture point. Now, one thing to note, both Doyle and Rob both have RPF, and since they are on somewhat opposite sides of each other, they're able to triangulate positions, assuming that their RPF is both pointing at the same grid square. Now, before this game, I called out, hey guys, I think their Cleveland's going to be sitting around the F6 grid square, just to the east of that island. The reason being is because the 9-kilometer radar allows for pretty good coverage of both the B and the C cap, so that's why I decided not to go in too deep to the C cap, and you can also see that Rob is at the very extreme northern edge, outside of the smoke screen, looking to the south, trying to get spots on anything that could potentially be coming. Now you can see that the C cap is stalled, so that does mean that the enemy destroyer is over here, and you can see now it has flipped because Rob had to get off the cap, but so did M. Brandis as well, maybe to dodge the torpedoes that were coming. And now you can see that Angel Stone is taking his Gneisenau straight into the B cap. There are some torpedoes coming, but because I was anticipating torpedoes coming at the smoke screen, I was already backing up and getting ready to reposition myself to try to deal with Angel Stone. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the Helena only has 14.6 kilometers of range, but in these close quarters maps and in this kind of game mode, 14.6 is plenty enough, as Angel Stone is only about 10 kilometers away from me. So I'm now going to swing all of my turrets to the port side, and I'm going to come moving west out of the smoke screen and try to get some shots here at the enemy battleship. You can see Doyle has opened up on him as well, getting some shots, and something that's pretty good to do early on is to chunk down the enemy battleship, because obviously in the mid to late game they're not going to have the hit points to be able to tank or really to be able to push, and you can see that both Doyle and I are getting some good fire on him. Now, the Cleveland did end up exactly where I figured that he would be and where RPF helped us determine his location. You can see right there, almost 5,000 damage with 8 penetrations on the enemy Gneisenau. Now, of course, Angel Stone is going to try and get some shots at me. One of the biggest things to be able to get good at if you want to play in the ShipStorm tournament is to be able to not lose too much hit points in your cruisers early on. Because, of course, unlike King of the Seas, there's hardly any cruiser down here at these tiers that has access to a heal. The Fiji does, the Edinburgh does, and those are the only ones off the top of my head that I can think of. But most of the cruisers in this tournament did not or do not have access to a heal, so you have to be very frugal with your hit points. Now, I did get another good cap reset right there with 3 of them and set yet another fire on Angel Stone. However, I have been chunked down to about a third of my hit points, and now Rob over there in the Akazuki is actually getting some shots at the Cleveland. Now, if you've noticed, Blood Legend has over 40,000 hit points because he is running the hit points captain skill. But, of course, the Akazuki is also a very popular pick for this game mode because it has over 32 millimeters of penetration. So shooting at cruisers, destroyers, and some of the battleships, the Akazuki gets virtually nothing but full penetrating hits. Now you can see that, unfortunately, because Rob had to run away from the C-cap, they were able to get it under their control. So now TWA is going to start to increase their lead 2 caps to 1. However, because Angelstone took quite a bit of damage from both my fire and then some shots from Doyle, he actually had to about face and get off of the B-cap. So that's going to be very important later on in the game because he has lost a decent amount of hit points so far. There's only 9 minutes and 47 seconds left, however, so Rob and I do have to try and get back on that C-cap because the enemy team is going to slowly and steadily be able to pick up more points. Now you can see that the Cleveland has actually repositioned, and there's a slight draw in the island. That's at F6, where the Cleveland is easily able to lob shells between that saddle in the hills and is able to get some good shots there on Doyle. So, unfortunately, he is going in reverse. He, I think, pulled a Notzer over there and is losing a decent amount of hit points, and the Cleveland continues to rain some shells in on him. I wanted to move back in towards the C-cap. Rob and I were talking about it. We were both going to go try to contest at about the same time. He did have his smoke screen ready to go, so we were going to both try to move in on the capture point at the same time. I do get detected, so that does mean, of course, that the Gajinamata has a line of sight on me, and since the C-cap is secured, I can only imagine that he's going to try to make a play on B so that TWA can get a 3 cap to 1 advantage. Now, some shots coming downrange from Angelstone. Unfortunately for him, once more, the paltry dispersion and accuracy of the Gneiss now does not lend to a very big hit on me. So I still have plenty of hit points to work with at 23,000. And of course, I am running Adrenaline Rush, so my reload will go down. And there we go. I do get my Direction Center for Catapult Fighter flying around, and he does manage to get a brief glimpse on the Gajinamata. So that's very important. Because the Gajda has launched his torpedoes, all 10 of them, it's going to take quite some time for him to be able to get his next set of torpedoes ready to go. So at this point, both myself and Rob are now going to get on the C-cap, and Doyle is going to contest the B-cap. And this is very important because now it has honestly gotten the points back to an even playing field. We have A, they have D, but since both B and C are contested, TWA has now lost the ability to continue to gain more points than we are. Now, of course, that Cleveland has still stayed around in that same area trying to shoot between the draw in the hills. So now I need to go out to the east, northeast, I should say, and help out my buddy Doyle. So the Cleveland's at 25,000 hit points, and I'm now going to get some good shots downrange on Blood Legend once again. And this is where the Helena's IFHE High Explosive really shows its colors. 4 hits for 2,900 points of damage, and the next salvo going down range is going to hit him for even more damage as I get 3,710 penetrations and yet another fire set on that guy. So now he has less than half of his hit points, and he has to continue to run away as I get another decent chunk out of him. So about 3 salvos right there for over 7,000 points of damage, and Blood Legend has to run away. Unfortunately for TWA, their Gajinamata had to get off of the B-cap, and now Doyle is getting into a kiting position. Angelstone's Gneiss now is now kind of moving to the north here, coming up towards the C-cap. However, Doyle is now going to get the B-cap for us as they are unable to reset him because we moved the Cleveland away from the draw where he was able to lob shells over the island, and now we have a 3 capture point to 1 advantage. So now the onus is on Omega TWA to make a play. There's only 6 minutes and 32 seconds left, and we still all have a decent amount of hit points to work with. Doyle's at about 30,000, I'm at about 23,000, and Rob is still around 2/3 of his remaining HP. Now, of course, Angelstone is back to 41k, so I'm going to try to get a couple shots here as the smoke screen is still blocking line of sight, and hopefully I'll be able to get another fire on him, and he will continue to burn, and that's exactly what happens. Some good shots right there. And then Doyle was actually able to shoot through that same draw. However, I decided to wait right there and hold my fire on the Gneisenau instead of revealing my location to the enemy team. Now, I'm sure that they could probably guess where I'm at. However, I decided to hold off and circle back around. Doyle is still staying on the B-cap, trying to delay it as long as possible. Obviously, the Gajinamata is somewhere, probably to the southern end of the B-cap. So he is just trying to delay as long as possible and tank as much as he can. And there we go. The Gajinamata does indeed get detected. So now that he has a firing lane for his torpedoes on Doyle, he is finally going to get off. However, if you've lost track of the point totals, we now have a 599 to 583 lead, and until they get the B cap, we are going to be getting more points than they are. So we've been able to turn about a 50 to 60 point deficit into about a 20 point lead. And now you can see that Angel Stone is moving full speed ahead, trying to get onto the B cap to help out his Gajda get the capture point, and they can kind of smell blood in the water. They figure that they're going to be able to get the kill on Doyle. So now Rob and I are going to move into a position to try and intercept. Rob has moved into an excellent location just to the southwest of the C cap, where he is able to back up and drop torps as needed, but then move forward so that he does not take hits from the Cleveland. And now I'm going to get into a kiting position where I'm going to be able to get some shots here on Angel Stone. About 5,000 right there on the very first salvo. And once again, this is where the Helena just does some unbelievable things in this kind of format. 4,900 followed by 3,600 and yet another fire set on him. He's down to about 20,000 hit points, and now he is under fire from all three of us from at least two different directions. So Angel Stone is now obviously going to be running to the southwest as fast as he can to try and get away. Doyle manages to tank a salvo, the entirety of the Gneisenau salvo, at 4,700 hit points, and that inability for Angel Stone to finish the kill is going to come back to bite TWA in the butt here, as now I have moved trying to close the distance now with the Gneisenau. We cannot let this guy get away. You can see that Rob has actually backed up and is getting some shots at him as well. We know that the Gajda is not able to get any torpedoes on Rob because they are the deep waters that cannot hit the destroyers, so he can comfortably just sit there with all of his guns ready to shoot and doing some chip damage to Angel Stone's Gneisenau. I'm getting more shots. There's no way he's going to be able to get away, but we do need to try to get this kill before he potentially could get inside the smoke screen. But you can see that he's now down to about 3,600 hit points, and my next salvo is going to secure his fate with a double fire set, and then Rob is going to finish off the kill. So now we have a lead of 755 to 631. Both teams have captured two of the capture zones. However, now I'm going to go to the southeast and get onto the D cap. Doyle's down to 4,700 hit points, but now he's able to get into a position where not only is he able to shoot at Blood Legend and secure 1 over penetration, but now he's going to continue running at full speed to the east. I'm sure that the Gajda has come through the B cap and is desperately trying to get some vision on Doyle as the fires finally go out at 2,700 hit points. But like I mentioned earlier, him not dying from that last gasp salvo from Angel Stone is now coming in quite handy, because instead of being at 2 ships to 2 and having almost an even points lead, because Doyle is alive, they're going to have to continue to try and chase after him and secure that kill. Now you can see the Blood Legend is creeping up to the north in the F5 grid square, F6, excuse me, and he's probably going to try to get into position where he's going to be able to secure the kill. But because he's only at 8,600 hit points, well, he can't afford really to go into open water lest he anger the RNG gods and Doyle gets a good 15-inch salute at him that could potentially kill him off. So Blood Legend has to play this very cautiously, and rightfully so. It's the only play that he really has at the point. He can't afford to go rolling out there until, at the very least, my fighter planes get shot down so that there's less vision, and that's exactly what happened. You can see the M. Brandis is over on the A cap, but this is still not helping Omega out, because while they are capping A, we are now capping the D cap. So we're still going to maintain this lead. I try to throw some shells through that saddle in the mountains, and I do manage to get a couple shells that go over with 2 penetrations. Unfortunately, he was so saturated that I wasn't able to get much more out of it. But now that Cleveland is in a position where he's able to shoot over the corner because the Gajda is spotting for him, as I do get the solo base capture. And unfortunately, the Cleveland it has the same guns as the Helena, so he's able to lob those American shells right over the corner of the island, and he should be able to kill Doyle off here pretty soon. However, I have a lot more hit points than him, and of course, he doesn't have any heal, so all I got to do is go around the corner and secure the kill on the Cleveland, and we will win ShipStorm 3. So going around at full speed, trying to help my buddy Doyle out. Unfortunately, he is going to go down here any second now. from the combined fire of the Gajda and the Cleveland. So it's going to bring the scores back temporarily rather close at about 30 points, but we still have the lead, and I know that I'm guaranteed to get this kill on the Cleveland because I just have such a hit point advantage. And like I mentioned earlier, saving your HP until the very end of the game for situations just like this is very important. I take about 6k from the first Cleveland salvo, and I take about 5,000 from the second one, but because I have the HP advantage, I will be able to out-trade Blood Legend here, and as I get chunked down one final time, my next salvo goes down range, and I take care of that Tier 8 American Light Cruiser, and with 17 seconds left, even though the Gajda is on the C cap, we have a 2-to-1 ship lead, and there is no possible way that we can throw this. You can see that the GGs are coming out in chat. And with about 6 seconds left, the Gajda does open up on me, trying very frantically to get this last second kill. But even if I died, we would still have the points lead, and that ends the game here on Haven. Alrighty guys, taking a look now at the post-battle results. It doesn't really matter, but I just needed some filler. 76,000 damage, 1 ship destroyed the enemy Cleveland. I set 10 fires off of 147 shell hits, had 8 base defense ribbons, which did come in handy early in the game on the Gneisenau, and then of course the 1 solo base cap at the very end of the battle. Worm also had a kill as well on the enemy Gneisenau. They were able to kill Doyle, of course, but it was a little too late, and we managed to win the series 2-0 and won, and came in first place in ShipStorm 3 in the international tournament. So it was a lot of fun. I think our aggregate record over the 2 days was 13-2, and we did really well, and it was a blast to play in. So once again, as I mentioned at the very beginning of the video, any RQL guys watching this, thank you so much for hosting this tournament. I'm glad that you guys have been able to get this thing up and running to the point where you had over 200 teams in an international tournament for only your 3rd iteration. So I hope you guys, Godspeed going forward, continuing to grow your brand and grow your product. And as for my viewers out there, I hope you enjoyed this change of pace. Obviously, I play in King of the Seas, so you do get competitive content on our channel from time to time, but I hope you enjoyed this little bit different of content. And with that being said, this is the Sneaky Snake for BIA World of Warships signing off. Guys and gals, as always, have a great day.